Hello everyone and welcome back to an early-ish edition of EastEnders Weekly Podcast. We only had 3 episodes this week.
Yeah, Children in Need week, so they've cut one loose.
And you think there'd be nothing to talk about, but no, there is.
There's quite a lot to talk about, but really one story kind of stole the show.
2 women stole my heart.
Two strong queens.
I mean, my heart was having palpitations twice this week. My heart doesn't very rarely often beats, but it was beating.
No, your heart doesn't beat very often. It's like Monty Burns' heart.
But yeah, what a week! What an episode! It was just so much to take in. I mean, Tuesday's episode was amazing, and then Duncan Lindsay on Metro was like, Thursday's episode's even better. It's like, doubt it, but
it was just
shocked.
It was camp. It was exciting.
Explosions, slow motion explosions.
Yeah. Sharon trembled. She was heavily pregnant, but still had the strength to help a lady in distress.
And of course, I haven't been in this for a while, but I am in mourning again. My last phase of mourning was when Grey turned out to be evil.
And then before that was when Abby died.
Yes. No, I finally got over Abby's death. Now I'm in mourning again. In black.
You guys can't see this, but Ben is wearing a full black dress with
and a black veil.
Yeah, with a veil over his face. He's wearing a hot red lipstick, and
I'm like Pat at Frank's.
I was about
funeral.
to ask, are you going to do that? Are you going to
strip off?
Wear a bright red dress.
Yeah, the end of Mel Owen officially on screen, covered up.
I mean, we'll be talking all about that very soon.
Yeah, I know. There was other things going on this week, apparently.
Other stuff did happen.
But I just want to talk about those 2. But
you have to keep tuned to listen to those 2 because they won't be at the top of the show because we're teasers. We are. We like to have you listen to the other bits.
Little tease of the tip.
Yeah, always tease the tip, Ben. So, as always, our shout out of the week we start the show with. If you want to shout out of the week, just get in touch with us on Twitter at EastEnders Week, or find us on Instagram at EastEnders Weekly Podcast, or Facebook. Just join the group by searching EastEnders Weekly Podcast. Did it early this week. Got the socials in. Yeah, absolutely. Always get it in, even if you have to thumb.
Wouldn't know.
So,
can't relate.
So the shout out of the week is from @TheQualityDan. First of all, a shout out for The Quality Dan because he has been really amazing the past 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, we can't say anything.
We can't say why, but he's been a real top guy. And that wasn't even meant to rhyme, but it did.
Did it?
Couldn't say why.
Oh, guy.
He's a real top guy. Yeah. Guy and why, yeah. And he also wanted us to shout out a couple more accounts because we did a shout out for an account a couple of weeks ago. 2 more. There's @TonyClayFans and @TeamTobyAS.
I love Team Toby AS.
We all love Team Toby AS. I also love Team Tony Clay Fans.
Oh yeah, no. But Toby AS always we have pictures of Grey that get exchanged on Twitter.
Yeah, publicly, not behind closed doors.
Yeah. Everything's public.
But all 3 have been supporting us throughout. We'd like to say thank you to all of them for helping us out, and we'll continue supporting you guys too. So yeah, give them all a follow on Twitter. That was @TheQualityDan, @TonyClayFans, and @TeamTobyAS.
Wonderful.
And say hello from us. Say hello. We found you through EastEnders Weekly.
Because I forgot to say earlier, we're discussing the episodes between the 11th and 14th of November. So let's get in to it all. So we're starting off with the Atkins and Taylors, I'm afraid.
Oh, the Atkins.
Not the Owens. No. The last of the Owens.
We're not doing the Owens yet. Just calm down, calm down. People can wait.
Yeah, we had a few things. Ted got a storyline off screen again. I don't think we'd be mentioning Ted again, but at least we know he's alive and safe and now getting some rent. He's getting
a lot more interest now he's not there.
Everyone does. It's like Joyce.
Yeah, or at least we know he's alive as well. That's the main thing.
That's true.
Which sadly Joyce is not.
But so yeah, Keegan is renting the downstairs flat with Tiff.
Subletting, which is highly illegal and shouldn't be condoned.
Which is strange because I thought when Ted left, I thought maybe Mitch and Bailey will move downstairs. But I'm assuming Mitch and Bailey are living with Karen, even though they're not together.
Well, they got their feet under the table at Karen's now, haven't they? They might as well just stay where they're at. There's no reason for them to move.
They're not together, are they?
No, they're not, but they are looking after Bailey together. So they're kind of taking responsibility. So it probably makes sense that Keegan and Bailey stays there. So, yeah, why not? Keegan's just downstairs. Although it was made out to be this huge, great big move. It's like Keegan was moving to the other side of the world and he was just moving downstairs. Bailey was devastated. Karen was in tears. Everyone was really hurt.
Yeah, I did think that to begin with. I thought, oh, that's really silly that Bailey's upset because he's been living at Jack's for like the past few weeks, which is further away than downstairs. But then you have to remember the reason that she's upset is because it's the flat her mum died in, I think, is the reason.
Oh, yeah, no, that's true for Bailey. I think for Karen also, I think when they were staying at Jack's, it meant that they could have an eye kept on them. So there was a degree of, there was still an adult keeping an eye on them. But now they're married.
Just downstairs, like, it's basically a house.
Yeah, but you know, that downstairs was a squat at one point for drug dealing, and they weren't none the wiser. Bernie only found out by accident, so, you know, they could be getting up all kinds of mischief. They could be kidnapped in there one night and held hostage, and Karen wouldn't know any the wiser, because she's busy looking at stars on a roof.
Do you think Bernadette might like become like a third wheel a bit easier now? She just pop downstairs, knock on the door all the time, sit on the sofa in between them both. Is that what we're going to have for Bernadette? I
think Bernadette is now over her crush with Tiff, and I should hope that she wouldn't want to interfere with their relationship. She seemed quite pleased with them when they got married at Gretna Green, or wherever they went up in Scotland. True. So I hope that Bernie has an interesting dynamic, as in she has some involvement now, and so there could be a storyline with Bernie, because Bernie is just crying out for a story.
I know, like she had that Pride episode, and like it was all like a big new Bernie revelation, and then she just hasn't done anything.
Yeah, nothing at all.
It's really odd. Not even chess. I'd even give a half chess storyline a go at this moment.
Would you?
Yeah.
Well, she's not really won the big one yet, has she? She's not won it for Mr. Murray. But she was showing off her medals a few months ago. I mean,
very lacking for Bern.
Bernie's love life is still available, so I think that maybe they should look into that maybe more again.
And you mentioned a star being bought earlier.
Oh yes, how much was it? $17.99 or $14.99?
They've gone down in price. They used to be more expensive.
Were they? Well, you do know that you don't buy an actual star. It's just a GIF or a PDF that you get sent to you on your phone. They've gotten even more lazier now. They don't even send you a printer's certificate.
I know.
They just send you something for print yourself.
I mean, typical Bailey, like putting a down on everything.
I mean, she's in a foul mood anyway.
That is true.
I don't know why Karen's trying so hard.
She does put a down on literally everything.
Yeah.
Poor Karen, because she tried her hardest, and like that's quite a nice gesture. Like about her mum after she washed her cardigan and got rid of her smell. Yeah, she bought her a star.
And also helped her die.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't be too upset with Bailey for being a bit miffed with Karen. But when Karen did say, like...
Well, she didn't help her die. She said, no, I won't help you, and her mum did it on her own.
Well, and didn't tell Bailey, or... Yeah, didn't... Okay, you're quite right, she didn't. But then it's still a betrayal in Bailey's mind, yeah. But when Karen said and looked up and said, you know, I kind of did this to try to cheer you up and try to make you feel happy, Bailey did concede eventually and kind of said, oh, actually, give us a here, I'll have a look. It is quite nice, thank you.
And I just realised they had that, like, projection on the ceiling of the stars. Why don't they go get a telescope and actually see the actual star?
Oh, it means going all the way to the Vic roof and going up the stairs. Well, it's a bit dangerous and slippery, and also Mick and Linda have a few problems of their own at the moment. Linda's hiding bottles in bins, you know, all kinds of stuff. But I can't really see how that projection was that accurate of what's actually happening in the sky, because you could literally just draw.
Maybe that projection was like part of the buying a star. It's an app, and you type in your star and it like locates it for you. Maybe that's what was going on.
What, and projects it through a mobile phone screen?
Well, there's a projection option, I imagine. Or you could look at it on your phone. Because she had the certificate on her phone, didn't she?
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. That was the PDF file.
So that's probably how it works.
No, I don't think... Well, I don't know. Because that means that they would have had to use someone else's phone, and also you would have to buy the projector. Would Karen have a projector at hand?
Like, she did have one.
Look what I have. Yeah, but that's what I mean. So could it not just be some odd gel that they found, lighting gel, that they just put into the lamp and just went, oh yeah, that's your star.
Yeah, probably.
Deal with it.
And the third part of the Atkins-Taylor storyline was obviously the Atkins side, where when this whole Bailey thing was going on, Karen kind of said to Chantelle, maybe you need to tell Gray, like, stop leaving it because it will just get worse, about the miscarriage. So she arranges for the house to be empty, which is never a good sign.
Yeah, but I think Gray was quite sensitive to it, really. He knew he was worried that he had done something wrong.
Because obviously amazing Jack Branning, the detective, has, you know, just been casually telling all of his stories and cases to Denise over the kitchen table. And she lets slip to Chantelle that Gray was in that fight earlier.
Yes.
And that's what she's going to confront Gray about. And he's obviously, because he thinks she's pregnant still, he's not lashing out at her.
Yeah, I guess. He did question why she had bought so much wine, and I think that was the first misstep by Chantelle.
You forgot.
Yeah.
2 bottles.
Just starts pouring herself a glass. Here's more for you, Gray. Yeah, Gray seemed quite sad, really. He seemed like a wounded puppy.
He's finally seen what he's really like.
Yeah, but also that maybe the therapy is genuine, because he was saying to Chantelle, you should come along to the therapy and prove to you that I am trying to fix myself.
I was surprised by that.
And so I think that he is actually trying to self-help himself, as it were. And it was a bit hurt that Chantelle started throwing these accusations at him without letting him have his side of the story given to him. Not that you should sympathise with him, because he did, attack a man. And although he argued that the guy was being a bit misguided at the club and upsetting a lot of people, it still doesn't warrant the fact that he attacked the guy. He could have
Plus, we don't know if that's true. That's just what he told Jack.
That's true. That's the story.
He could have just been a random.
Yeah, he told the police that story, didn't he?
But and we have the theory. Obviously, we have the theory where when Gray's hair is all flicky, he's mad and he's in a suit. But this time, he was in a cardigan.
Yes.
So is that reflecting his calmer character? Cardigan Grey?
He needed a pipe and slippers, didn't he? He just gently start reading a story to his children.
But obviously we had Karen quite silly the way she announced about the miscarriage, because she saw them having kind of an argument outside and she automatically assumed that Chantelle had already told him.
Well, prior to this, Gray had already said that there should be no secrets between them. And yet Chantelle still pushed the fact that she felt like she had been lied to by Gray. I mean, it would have been a good opportunity for her to kind of say, okay, I'm not very happy that you kept this secret from me. Although he did argue that he did it on purpose, because he wanted her to... He did it on purpose to protect her and the baby. But this would have been a good opportunity for her to say, okay, well, we've both made mistakes here because I've kind of kept something in myself. Although hers is obviously a much more troubling scenario, because it within her, and it must be very hurt. It must hurt her having to say it out loud as well to Gray.
And a little bit of her, I think, was kind of using that as because she was pregnant, she could stand up to him and say how she really felt to him, because she knew he wouldn't hit her. She was kind of using it as a barrier. And obviously now that Karen's told him that she's not pregnant, she was going back to the house on her own. But they didn't show us another scene between those two.
Yeah, but they do that on purpose, don't they? They
so we don't know.
They only show selected parts. Like the impact of the violence is much greater because we don't see it all the time, which is very clever, actually. It's very well thought out and written and portrayed, because you could see through Gray's emotions, his face instantly dropped, and you could
so did her.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And fear started building up inside of her, and anger started building up.
Because Karen took the kids back with her, so they were going back to the house alone, so we can only assume.
Well, we can only imagine what's going on in that behind those doors, which is the whole ethos of the story, isn't it? For EastEnders at the moment, it's like you don't know what's going on behind closed doors. So yeah, so next week we're probably gonna see the aftermath again, and you'll find out that. But this
he'll be apologising.
He'll be apologising, but again, will this break Gray now? Because we're he's saying he's doing this therapy. From what we understand, he probably was, but now would he just consider that void?
You lied to me, what's the point?
Yeah, what's the point if we're going to continue lying to one another?
Because he's so shaky of actually going there and admitting that he's like this. I think the littlest thing to give him a tiniest bit of an excuse not to do it, he'll take. Yeah. Which, I don't know, we'll see. We'll have to wait till next week. But yeah, very dark and horrible situations. Let's go and talk about the Gene Slater one episode storyline arc we had this week. More Daniel on his video.
Yeah, will he ever disappear from our hearts?
I was still expecting... This is when I was expecting Shirley to notice, the radio in the background and be like, wasn't that report from after he died? But no one's still noticing it yet.
I know, I was exactly the same situation. I was sat there watching, thinking, oh, Shirley's bound to spot something now. Because Jean even had the leading line when she said, so did you see anything? Did you spot anything? Obviously, she meant what Daniel had said, because it was a bit cryptic for his final word, be Jean. But yeah, as soon as she said that, I thought, oh, here we go. Shirley's going to say, oh yeah, that news article that happened after the day, or something, something like that.
It's something like results of a game or something, isn't it? I don't know exactly what it is, but it's results of a horse race or something like that at the beginning of the video. So obviously but I don't know how many more times Gene's going to be able to show this to people, to someone to find out this wasn't recorded when he died. Yeah,
but also how they're going to, how's someone going to remember something that far back now? Because it's getting quite a long time now, and unless it's a big news article or story,
you might not catch it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was interesting. Shirley cried, which has got a lot to think about there. When was the last time Shirley cried? Heather's funeral, possibly. So that was interesting. Like, she really got quite emotional with Daniel's goodbye message.
I think Shirley, because she's 50% blood, 50% pure vodka, I think sometimes...
50?
Yeah, 70-30, 90-10 split. I think sometimes that Shirley is quite emotional when she found out about Mick and Dino, that storyline. She was quite emotional over that story as well, and her emotions seem to fly from one to the next. She's either very excited and angry and fuming at someone. It's like she can, when she's showing she's happy, she's normally shouting at someone. And so for me, it wasn't that much of a surprise that Shirley got very upset over a video like that, because I think she's an emotional roller coaster, and no one really knows what goes on in that mind of Shirley's.
It was nice just to see that more human side to her, though, because normally, like you say, she's just shouts everything or shouts all her lines, and Linda Henry does have
range.
She does have range, and she just never gets to really use it. So that was really nice that her and Jean both got to sit there, and Jean's a powerhouse, but it was nice that Linda Henry could actually keep up with her. So it was a really good scene. But yeah, they were just sort of talking Jean through and working out what Daniel's message was, and she came to the conclusion, or maybe I need to go out and help people who similar situation to me. Yeah,
there's a therapy group at the hospital where she's being treated, and she thinks that she could give out more hope and good that way. She also worried about being lonely, and she reflected that fear against Martin at the beginning of the week, because Martin was in the cafe, and she kind of said, are you not afraid of being alone? I fear for you, Martin. But I think a little bit of her was not only upset for Martin, but I think for herself. And I think, again, this therapy group was a good way of her maybe getting a connection with someone. She's got Shirley, but ideally she wants her family around her, and
she's got a lot of love to give, and not many people are left around to give it.
But the only one she wants to really give it and get it and receive it from is Stacey, and Stacey's the only one she can't get it from. And so again, she's still angry at Martin for that. But
she could go visit Stacey, couldn't she?
Well, no, because I don't think she knows where Stacey is now. I think Stacey's gone again.
Well, Stacey did phone her.
She phoned her, but she didn't give her a location. Yeah, she didn't go say X162. Find me on Google Maps. Yeah, no, but it's sweet for me. I thought it was sweet that she, even though she's angry at Martin and upset with Martin of what she thinks that Martin had done, which is slept with Sonia.
Of course. First thing that comes to mind.
Who wouldn't? I'd sleep with Sonia. She also feels a bit sorry for Martin as well. So it's again, I don't know if she wants to keep Martin close to her still, because that's still that connection with Martin's connection with Stacey could then be, what I mean? So she's like still feels that Stacey's connected to Martin somehow.
Yeah, and I also don't think Jean finds it easy to hate someone. Like she always sees the good in someone. So
I look forward to seeing, though. I think it'll be nice to see Jean in a therapeutic position.
It will suit her.
It will, but I fear that this might lead to her discovery of Daniel's lies.
Is she going to be working in is she going to be doing the support group in the hospice? Because is she going to be working there and then see that Daniel's in the hospice at the end of his life, maybe?
Yeah.
So maybe something like that will crop up.
I think so. I'd rather that, though, she worked it out through that video, though. I think that would be a much more sneakier way.
There's a way there.
Exactly, there's a route to it, and then she might then need to use Kush or someone to help her, or Martin indeed, to help her through like a media,
or Big
social
Mo.
media. Big Mo only knows how to use a webcam, and even that's to a very primitive degree.
Well, I'm here for a Big Mo storyline. Still waiting.
I know, she's just fodder for comedy, isn't she?
She is. But yeah, that's what I've got to say on them, because I want to talk about the main story of the week, so we're moving on.
Okay.
So tough.
Should we go do a game then?
Yeah, we'll do a game just to eke out a bit more. And then we'll be talking about the big truck in the room.
The big one. And I'm not talking about Sharon.
We're in the dark room again with a spotlight on both of us.
Don't tell people our personal life, Ben. Keep it secret.
Because we are here in the interrogation room.
Oh, but the room that Jack is now officially allowed to be inside.
I know, he officially does this now.
He does. This is his job. As a crook.
Yeah, a long-running game with us, which is basically Guess Who. But obviously, I've seen a crime committed on the square, and you have to work out who I saw commit this crime with yes or no questions only.
With the help of Jack Branning.
Yes, because he's taking the person into witness protection.
Yes.
Officially now. Yeah. With his little mate, Callum, on the side.
Who'd have thought when we created this game, taking the mick out of Jack Branning's career as a police officer, that one day he'd become a police officer again?
It's written in the stars. So you have 60 seconds to guess who it was I saw committing a crime on the square.
Hold on to your seats, folks, because I am very bad at this game.
Just think of Guess Who, and you can play it that way.
You say this every time. You say, think of Guess Who, ask this, ask that, and every time I just get stuck.
That's fine. I've got a witness statement for you, and then our timing will begin.
Okay, how long have I got?
60 seconds.
60 seconds, okay. I'm going to write down the witness statement, because sometimes you put a little subtle clue in there, and at the end you say, oh, you should have got that, and I didn't.
I was minding my own business at Sharon and Louise's surprise party this week.
Well, that's a lie straight away. You don't mind your own business in anyone's party.
When, during all of the chaos that happened with the microphone, I saw someone take a cocktail from the bar without paying. Now, I'm not one to gossip about my neighbours, but if you can guess who it was I saw, I'll have no choice but to tell you.
Okay.
And you have 60 seconds, and I can only reply yes or no.
Right.
3, 2, 1, go.
Is the thief, the tea leaf, is this, I'm already rubbish. Are they male?
No.
Are they, I was about to articulate. Are they old enough to drink?
Yes.
Are they only just old enough to drink? Have they just turned 18?
No.
Do they work in E20?
No.
Were they invited? Were they invited to the party? Would they know Sharon and Louise well enough that they would have been invited?
Yes.
Okay. Do they have children?
Yes.
Is she dating? It was a he, isn't it?
No.
Oh, it's a she. Is she dating a dentist?
No.
Oh gosh. Is she dating Jack Branning?
No.
Is she an alcoholic?
No.
Time
up.
I mean,
getting away with it.
Is she an alcoholic? Could have been many people, but she's
not officially an alcoholic.
Oh, so it is Linda?
No.
Oh.
The character could be an alcoholic, for all I know, but officially, in storyline canon, she's not.
She's not an alcoholic, no. Female. Can I take a stab in the dark? It's not Linda, then. It's not Shirley.
You can't tell. You've gotten away with the crime.
You have to tell me the answer, though.
Do I?
Yes. People at home, people aren't going to guess from what I've asked.
Yeah, but they're under witness protection now.
Yeah, but you have to give an answer.
Okay.
What I'll do is I'll put my fingers in my ears, so I can't hear now. So I can't hear me now. I can't hear. So go ahead.
The person who was stealing drinks, of course, was Shirley Carter.
So have you told them who it was?
Yes.
Okay.
How do you feel?
I feel wrong. I feel like I need a holiday.
Oh, there you go. That was Jack Branning's witness protection, and said person has gotten away with a free cocktail from E20.
I mean, I wouldn't be that upset. The cocktails look pretty bad in E20.
Well, there you go. That was Jack Branning's witness protection.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, Ben from the EastEnders Weekly Podcast presents his take on the Mel and Sharon storyline.
I can't say any word about it, I'm afraid. I'm too shook. CGI explosions.
Smoke.
The thing I didn't want was for Mel to die. I said that 3 weeks ago.
Well, sadly, you didn't get that wish.
It was just so cruel how they had her fine.
I know, but that's what surprised... I completely agree with you. That's what surprised me the most. Because as an audience member, if someone survives an accident like that, you instantly think that she'll be fine now. And we all know this is leading to Christmas. So...
And I saw a cut on her wrist and I thought, oh, she's going to go to hospital and tell Lisa something before she dies or something. But no, didn't even get that.
No.
Squished. Well, not squished, actually.
Well, no, she wasn't squished.
Yeah, but bit gruesome, but it's fine. The lorry hitting her like that, I thought, oh, there's not going to be much left. No, but she was all right.
Just a severed head.
Not even her suit was still intact. Must be a high quality suit she was wearing.
She had quite a bit of blood around her head.
Yeah, but...
I mean...
To be expected.
Yes. Well, quite. She hit a car and then got hit by a lorry. Yeah, lots happened to her.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
Her brain was rattled. She was hearing... I mean, whose fault was it, ultimately? You have to argue it was Hunter's fault. Because from the dead, he still manipulated his mother into walking in front of a lorry. Mum? Do you know what it reminded me of? Our old friend.
Oh, Halfway's Hat.
It reminded me of Halfway's Hat when he goes to talk to his mates in heaven.
Well, Hunter's there now and so's Mel.
Oh, Hunter better not wear him. He's not Hunter's hat. He's Halfway's hat.
But Mel just went off the scales this week. So we need to wind back a bit before getting to the fun bits on the road. And all the camera shots we had this week were just like the best thing in the world I've ever seen.
So exciting, wasn't it?
Sharon driving with like zoom ins and all loads of stuff. Oh, I loved it.
And the dum 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 dum
yeah,
dum dum
incidental music. I loved the incidental music. They used it twice.
Mm-hmm.
The second time I thought a bit too much.
No,
but
again,
I still enjoyed
it
because it went with my heartbeat. That music did, and I thought Sharon was there with explosions and all sorts. But,
it did. It heightened the which is what the incidental music's meant to do. And it didn't
brought me to life
for me. It really did. It didn't cheapen it for me. It really didn't.
No, it made it feel like a 9 p.m. drama.
It really did. a high quality, something you see on HBO or Stars in the States.
But we have to go back to the beginning of the week because obviously Sharon's 50th party, which we were begging for 2 weeks ago, she had it with all her photos that Mel printed off and found somehow.
Let's start off with those photos then. So it was a rogues gallery of people, wasn't it? There was Angie,
then
there was Grant.
I know.
Yeah.
Mel did that on purpose.
Do you reckon Kathy had that picture? Do you reckon Kathy kind of got it out?
I wonder where she got them all from.
Yeah. There was Michelle. There were pictures of Michelle.
Which Michelle? The original?
Old Michelle.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, there was one old Michelle. I know. I thought that as well. Can you imagine if they used both? They just kind of merged it into. When you go on the app, the one that Louise used to see what her baby would look like with her and Keanu, they just used the two Michelles and merged into one face.
Character.
Yeah.
So she got that box of tricks out. So that's fun. Bit insulting putting Grant on there. Happy memories.
Well,
but Mel probably did it on purpose.
Of course she did.
Well,
yeah, I was going to say Mel didn't care, did she? She did it on purpose. I mean, for poor Louise, she had no pictures of her.
There were like 2 or 3, not many.
But it was very much
at the bottom on the rim, near all the dirt,
where she deserves. Yeah, on the bottom feeder. It was very much a Sharon-centric party. It was very much to distract Sharon so that Mel's plan could come together.
And it worked. And let's talk about Louise. Obviously, the surprise party was ruined by Karen.
Rightly so.
Which I was like cheering Karen on when she did that because Louise wouldn't apologise about the wedding, and she was like, "Well, you got married anyway, so you got what you wanted." So I helped. Really, it's like,
she's such a bitch, isn't she, Louise? So when Karen spoilt it, although in a funny way though, Louise liked it because it meant that she could get herself all looking nice.
That's true.
With her blooming stupid glittery dress.
But she lost her birthday present in the crash, so that's good.
Yeah. Well,
Thank God.
Let's be honest. That was all she cared about, and she lost her mobile phone.
Yeah. And her second mum.
Yeah, take that, Louise.
Mel did it on purpose.
Yeah.
Because, we really saw, it was quite obvious that it was the end of Mel, really, because she was really undoing all of her connections, and even to, her biggest connection, Lisa, she massively undid that, where it was up to a point where you thought, yeah, there's no going back, really. But I didn't want to believe it at the time.
Yeah, but Lisa, to the end, kept wanting to help her friend, which was admirable of Lisa.
It was nice.
But you could see Lisa slowly unravelling, couldn't you? You could see her slowly, she was beginning to, the stress of it all was beginning to get too much for her as well. And so this is a worrying time for Lisa. I fear that her side of the story and also her heightened emotion is going to be her undoing, because they're always going to look back to her past and say, oh, but you're a bit nutty, Lisa, so nothing you're saying is truth.
And the most stressful pregnancy in the world for Sharon. She's only just got rid of Mel, and now Lisa's popped back up, the next nemesis to get rid of.
Yeah, I mean, Sharon, bless her, she has the strength of 20 women. The way she dragged Mel, I loved it when she took the seatbelt off and Mel just went oof on the floor, and Sharon was like, "Oh, sorry," carried on.
Because there's so many twists. Because it was almost like a Sharon Gate with Grant and Sharon with the tape recorder. There was almost a moment like that because Mel was on her way to the airport to get Phil before Sharon could get there.
There was a lot of references, wasn't it, to old episodes?
So you thought, it's going to be revealed like that.
Yeah.
And then there was
the crash, which is a bit like how Steve died, because Steve died in a car crash.
Yeah, she thought, they're paralleling that and she's going to die in the car, and it's kind of to do with Louise like it was with Steve, and it's Sharon instead of Phil and Mel instead of Steve. But then she got out of the car and you're like, oh, okay, so maybe she'll be in a coma until Christmas.
But then that's when she started hearing Halfway Hunter, when she started, Mum, I'm here, Mum. Find me, Mum.
It's funny how they've made Mel, she has been slowly losing it, but that day was really...
I mean, I think you have to admit her head was probably a bit rattled from crashing and then flipping over a car.
And she was she got a cut or so, but she was all right.
Well, no, I think
not mentally,
brain
no.
damage was going to kick in at that point. You could see that she was something had happened in that crash that made her senses basically knock itself out the window.
But yeah, Sharon dragged her out, pregnant Sharon.
This is what I mean. Sharon ripped open the door. She was almost like one of those like the
Don't worry, I'm just acting.
I know, it reminded me of that scene as well. We have to post it on Twitter so people can get that reference to that. But you know the cranes they use, the fire brigade used to like flip the car back over again. Did you not notice Sharon kind of lifted that car up as well with her own strength? Sharon has the mighty force.
While wearing heels as well.
Yeah, they should make a Marvel comic of Sharon. Shazam or something like that. I don't know, but she should be a comic book hero.
I am glad.
Forget Ollie. Sharon is the comic book hero.
I am glad that Sharon did get Mel out, because there was rumours online like she might leave her to die, or if Mel is alive, she might. And they kind of lingered on her face a bit, and Sharon didn't do anything. And the incidental music was playing, and I was like, oh, don't make Sharon like not a killer, but like not help. But she did help.
But I found it really strange because that road was completely clear for the whole time she was doing it. So it must have been about 20-30 minutes while Sharon's rescue attempt carried out.
I mean, if we went into it, we could probably pick this apart to be the most shambolic thing ever. But
no, I'm not saying it was shambolic. It was camp as hell, but it wasn't shambolic. But it's the fact that like there was no traffic on that road, and then all of a sudden a forklift truck suddenly came by. Yeah. It was just, and it wasn't a dual carriageway. It was a 3-lane road, wasn't it? So it must have been quite a busy. It was an A road because they said on the road A17 or A7.
Something like that,
so it's a busy road.
Yeah, it's really odd.
And the only cars that came past was the articulated lorry that ultimately caused Mel's undoing.
Yeah, like going like 100 miles an hour, like through fog and through
through fog as well.
Yeah.
Oh no,
there was smoke, but you know what I mean.
Car,
but like, if you look into it, it was silly.
You would slow down.
The whole thing was silly, but because it was involving Sharon and Mel, like the silliness kind of.
That's what I mean. It was camp. It was ridiculous. It was over the top. But because it was Sharon and Mel, it felt right. It felt good.
And the slow motion explosion.
When Sharon almost fell to her knee.
She didn't even fall over. She's like, no, I don't do crash mats.
She has the power of 20 horses. She is just. I did like the social commentary when the guy turned up and was like, we just ran past Sharon and Mel to see if they were okay, and was just got his camera out and started filming the car.
Fan of Letitia Dean, probably.
Yeah, she's probably no autographs. She wouldn't even wind down the window. If she was in a car burning and someone came over and asked Letitia Dean for an autograph, she'd just wind the window up.
It was a bit of a shame Sharon couldn't like just grab hold of Mel for a bit longer, like, and wait to the paramedic, because they were nearly there, she said. But no, there was no stopping her. She wanted to go get Hunter. And
I mean, you have to be honest, Sharon didn't really try too hard to stop Mel.
Yeah, she can't. You have to remember she's pregnant. The character of Sharon is
pregnant.
She
was pulling Mel out of the car.
Her adrenaline was lowering then because she thought they were all safe.
Oh, she should have had a sugar pill and got back up, have a Tic Tac, and then
got
herself going.
If lorry's going past that quick. But yeah, shocking that when that lorry hit Mel, wasn't the best CGI, but that's fine. But it was a bit like, oh god. Yeah, that's the end. It was surprising.
It really surprised me that they did that to Mel, because we all were adamant that this was the Christmas story, and it still is. So
somehow,
yeah.
But really gruesome end to Mel, especially like thinking, like, we watched her first episode recently when she turned up to Ian's and was being a bit silly and worked in a supermarket. Now she's been run over by a lorry.
Well, she only had a cut on the back of her head. Phil had a cut on the back of his head. He was fine after a few weeks.
And I find it interesting how, you know, they've killed off Steve, killed off Ray, killed off Hunter, killed off Mel. It's like, oh, that's the Owen, the whole family. There is no more Owens or Kellys or whatever Hunter was. Like, there's none left. That's it. Yeah. It's mad that they've killed all three characters, the whole family they introduced.
In the space of a year and a half.
Less than a year, because it was New Year's, wasn't it?
Well, New Year's is when Ray died. Oh, yeah, I suppose you're right, yeah. So 11 months.
I know, it's God.
It does feel
final.
Yeah, it feels a bit empty, the ending for Mel. I'd like to have... I just
it was all stunt, and there was no... Like, that last scene she had with Sharon wasn't really much to Mel. She obviously wasn't herself. But she was just acting a bit crazy, but she didn't say anything to Sharon for a last word or a last anything. It was kind of, she'd already written herself off, I guess. Because
I got a bit excited because when Sharon first peeked through the window and was like, "Cooey, it's me," to Mel, and Mel kind of smiled, and it wasn't hello, thank God you're here to save me smile. It was a slightly evil smile, wasn't it? And then that's when she started hearing the voices.
I did wonder if she was going to grab Sharon's like wrist and like try and like knowing the car was about to explode, like take them both out, and that would have been really. And Sharon would have been like pushed her off, and then Mel would have died that way. But no, she got her out, and then...
I mean, Sharon is getting the blame for her death, because Lisa's kind of... After the police officer said, oh no, she didn't die from the accident. She died...
The initial accident.
Yeah, the initial accident. She died from the other accident, you know. And straight away, Mel kind of did the math wrong and ran straight to Sharon's. Poor Sharon. All she wanted was a bath and
I know, because she came home with Phil.
Good to see Phil back.
Yeah, he's right back into it, isn't he?
Yep, and the unripened grape.
And I mean, the whole situation is really tricky for Sharon to explain without telling it, because the fact that they were both on their way to Phil didn't make sense. And Mel would have made a phone call to tell Phil that she'd sold the club to Ruby cheap, and that doesn't quite make sense even when Sharon explained it to him.
Yeah, he you could see though he didn't buy it.
No,
either.
he was about to question it, and then Lisa barged in, which kind of thank God, but then not thank God.
No.
Because the secret I was expecting that to be like a Christmas Day duff when she told Phil that the reason this was all happening is because the baby's not yours, and Mel knew. It's like, oh my God.
But Lisa,
middle of November.
Yeah, but Lisa doesn't know that it's Keanu's.
No, that's one piece. But no one knows now because Mel's dead. She didn't tell anyone.
Sharon knows, and so does Keanu.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that part is gonna come out.
I mean, Sharon did say her initial reaction was like, "Oh, she's talking from grief. She's not talking sense." And I think, again, Sharon could manipulate it quite easily that way. But then Lisa knows she's telling the truth, so it's not like she can manipulate Lisa. So is this going to be another situation now where she has to take out... not that Sharon did take out Mel, but, you know...
Try to save her.
Is Lisa now the next target?
Well, she is.
But Lisa's much weaker than Mel. And so Sharon will be able to manipulate, especially with Phil. If she can convince Phil... I mean, Phil really pushed his thumb over Lisa years ago.
Well, the thing is, now Mel's died, that's going to make Lisa
even
a
more
lot stronger,
motivated.
Yeah.
I don't think she is though. She's just not a strong character, is she? She
was happy to spill the tea.
Yeah, but that was because of panic and grief, and she's just she just needed to let it out. If Louise and Keanu, especially Keanu's useless, by the way, throughout this whole thing.
The whole episode. He wasn't even acting. Like when the police turned up to the door to tell Lisa, Louise and Keanu that Mel died, he stood in the background. He didn't even react.
No. But in the club as well, when
he just
Sharon's screaming at him saying, just take the phone, stop this from happening. Keanu's just like, I don't know what to do.
Like a wooden plank.
Yeah, like a rabbit in headlights.
Useless. But he never used to be like that, so I don't know why...
I mean, no, he did.
But not as bad as that.
But he was never very reactive. Let's never forget he had the apprenticeship and he cried in the pub when he lost the job. He's always been a very soft character, and so I actually think it's not out of character for the way Keanu acted.
No, I think Keanu. I'm talking about the actual acting.
Oh, you mean the actor?
Yeah, there was just nothing going on. His reaction shots or anything. He just stood there.
But he wasn't really part of the scene. All he needed, this is what I mean. I think Keanu was always meant to be this kind of, I think it's all become too much for Keanu, which is again a leading sign that he wants to leave, you know, so he, as we know, he is leaving at Christmas time. And I think this is all too much for Keanu, and I think it's just, everything has overwhelmed him. I mean, this is just bread and butter for Sharon. This is just another day in Wolford for Sharon, you know. She's more secrets, more lies to cover up.
The next enemy now.
Exactly.
But there was also a nice scene when it was announced that Mel had died with Ian, because obviously ex-wife, he's not doing well with ex-wives. Cindy dead, Laura dead, Mel dead,
all children.
The only one that's left is Jane now.
Well, Jane almost died.
Yeah. So I think this is only surviving ex-wife, isn't it, now?
Yeah, Ian is the Grim Reaper of wives, isn't he? 4 wives.
But it was nice that they gave him that little moment, like, to be upset about it.
Yeah.
Because we had those weird scenes where he kind of almost wanted to get back with her, but then it kind of fizzles nothing. But...
I think he still thought of it as well. He always said, his ultimate goal was to say, he said to Mel, wasn't it? He said, you are my one. You are the one I've always meant to be with. And I think he still truly believed that in his mind. So this was a big shock for Ian. So again, something that could have been forgotten by the production team and wasn't. So I appreciated that they had that little scene with Ian.
And it was nice just having the people in the Vic, Kush and Bex, like everyone, it was a bit community-ish.
Yeah.
Which was quite nice that they actually had these characters getting the news all at once.
Although Bex, again, was a bit of a...
I know, that sloppy. Delivery was rubbish.
Really sloppy delivery.
She's
dead. No, she went, she's dead? And then just stood there with her arms out, you know, like kind of like her shoulders shrugging. Like I
don't think the word dead was. She should have said she's died. Like I don't know, the word dead seems a bit.
But she's almost questioned it.
Yeah.
Again, that was a really kind of poor
sloppy
delivery of it.
took my emotion out.
I mean, luckily, the 10 out of 10 from Sharon and Mel scenes. So anything that happened around it didn't really matter because you always just remember those wonderful scenes with Sharon and Mel.
It's just weird to think that Mel's dead, does it?
I know, it really is.
And it was on screen, they covered her body, so yeah. There goes our theory of her cropping back up at Christmas. I mean,
there might be a really fun funeral coming up.
I don't think there will be a funeral. I don't think they'll show one.
She'll just be
they'll have one.
Just be Lisa there or something.
Yeah, I don't think they didn't show Hunters, did they?
Well, no, because Phil wouldn't allow them to have a funeral. So again, will Phil not allow Mel to have a funeral? So as I say, just be Lisa there. I really want there to be a big funeral, though. I want the kind of, you killed, then what?
But if they have the funeral, the trouble is you've got Mel's brother. Like, they've not really been mentioned her family, because he's like a vicar. So like if they are having
about him,
she has like family. So if they did have it on screen, there's those questions that need to be answered for no real reason.
Well, why didn't turn up?
Yeah, it'll probably be off screen, I imagine, which is sad because she's such like a big character.
Yeah.
But there's no one really left to mourn her apart from Louise and
Lisa.
But obviously, I can't remember if we mentioned it or not, but obviously Lisa tells them that the baby's not theirs.
Yes.
And that's how it ended.
We did mention it, but Lisa doesn't know that it's Keanu's.
Yeah, big revelation. Like, how are they going to take this? What's going to happen at Christmas? Like, it's just, I don't know what to think. It was like a Christmas episode, these two episodes.
It was, but not quite. I mean, it's not a Christmas episode without a big meal and a big shouting out match. There was no real shouting or arguing, and that's what you want, isn't it? You want that's what you want. You want the fallout to happen before you. I mean, nothing really fell out, to be honest with you. The only bit that was right at the end when Lisa came in and made out this revelation, and Sharon was like, "Get her out!" and kind of then stormed upstairs. I mean,
take aspirin. I think she got quite a bad headache. Yeah. After all that, that's quite a day.
It has been quite a day.
Quite a party.
She can't have a drink yet. Still, I mean, she is going to have on tap alcohol at her bedside when she gives birth to that baby. It is going to be it's going to be an actual keg of wine and a pump just constantly. And Linda will be there to help her out as well.
I mean, it's screaming out for going into labour early, isn't she, Sharon? This stressful time. So obviously that's going to be the next.
Oh, I hope it's not Christmas birth.
No, she's not due till February.
Yeah, but
at least Louise is due Christmas-ish, isn't she? I think.
For goodness sake, there's too many Christmas babies now.
All of them have a Christmas birthday, don't they?
I don't want a Christmas birth. I don't want a Christmas birth. If anyone's listening, we don't want one.
Too late, it's filmed.
Cut it.
Yeah, that was Mel's last hurrah. So.
Yeah, bless her.
Hit by a truck.
A lorry,
whatever. Very sad and sudden. It's like something out of Line of Duty. So
it was. Maybe Susan Tully directed it.
Her idea.
Yeah.
Michelle Fowler sent her regard.
Yeah. Can you imagine if just on the side of the lorry it said, "I did this for you, Sharon. Love from Michelle."
Yeah. Hope you get my delivery.
Yeah.
Right. So let's go on and play our last game, and then we'll talk about the Carters.
Time for your 5 a day, Ben. Martin Fowler insists.
Good. I'll never say no to him.
And if you don't, he'll beat you.
Good. Maybe I will say no then.
Martin Fowler's 5 a day, for any new listeners out there, is basically I'm going to give Ben a statement or a question, and he has to give me 5 answers relating to that said statement or question. Simple as that.
Good.
Easy peasy. So for argument's sake, if I said to Ben, name 5 fruit and veg, Ben would say...
Do this every time. Avocado, banana, apple, orange, pear...
Okay. I love that when you went to was avocado. That's so middle white English.
I've never had an avocado, actually.
Haven't you? No,
I don't want one either.
No.
Before you offer.
I'm not offering you an avocado. I'm not getting you one. I'm not popping to Tesco for you. So, because this week is Children in Need Week around the whole of the United Kingdom.
Yes. If you're listening to it, the second it comes out.
It'll be a couple of days after.
Yeah.
You've already probably thrown a few pounds Pudsy's way. Pudsy's the bear for anyone outside the UK who's the mascot of Children in Need. I feel like I need to explain everything. Every year, the cast of EastEnders tend to do something for children in need. As we talked about in our November extra episode last year, charity crossovers. Check it out. Go back onto your podcast app and look for the 14th of November, charity crossovers. So this might help you to remember what we talked about a year ago.
Yeah, I can remember.
Because Ben, I'm going to ask you to name 5 different charity shows or episodes that EastEnders had done up until 2018, up until last year. Now, I will not include things that weren't televised as an episode during the event of Children in Need. So, for instance, in 1989 and 1991, they had a football match. against Grange Hill in 1989.
Of course they did.
And 1991 against Coronation Street, Brookside and The Bill. And in 1997, Martine McCutcheon sang Barbra Streisand songs.
My moment.
The very same. But she did that live in the studio. So again, it wasn't performed at Albert Square.
No.
Okay, so all these things must have happened either in Elstree or at Albert Square.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, does that make sense? There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you a minute. But I don't think you're going to need a minute. And any bonuses, you get a bonus point, which count toward your avocados.
Okay.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So in 60 seconds, can you name 5 charity events that EastEnders had performed for children in need, starting from now?
The Strictly Come Dancing one in 2019.
No, up until 2018. That's this year's, doesn't count.
No, I thought it was being clever. The Disney crossover with Aladdin.
Yep, 2018. Once Upon a Time in Albert Square.
We had Whitney Dean's Struggle, was it called? When there was a special episode about Whitney Dean.
Comic Relief.
Oh, is that the same thing?
No, it wasn't Children in Need.
Children Need.
Think of bands they did tributes for.
We had the Doctor Who crossover.
Yep, Dimensions in Time. That was in 1993.
Yes. We had...
Think of bands
Jackson,
or musicals.
No, not Jackson 5.
No, they never did the Jacksons.
No. They did Chicago. Did they?
No, they didn't do Chicago.
Oh, it was some music.
What about a TV series? 10 seconds left.
Oh, Coronation Street crossover.
Yep, East Street. 2010. 5 seconds left.
Well, they do stupid music ones. I don't like
Time's
them.
up.
I hate musicals.
All you had to, well, it's not all musicals. There was also bands.
Is there?
Yeah.
Jackson 5. That was a trailer for something else.
Jackson 5 was for Bianca when she returned to EastEnders. Oh, I had a lot of hope for you, Ben. I believed in you. I thought you were going to get at least 4 because we talk about. Well, there's one more obvious one that you're missing. We'll get to it. I
can't remember them all because there's comic relief and all sorts.
Okay, we'll get... So, 1992, they did a concert, a full-on concert with Bananarama, the police choir, the Met Police Choir, East 17, and also sang a song with the cast of El Dorado. That's throwing back the years, isn't it? Anyone who remembers El Dorado, well done you.
Isn't that the one that Julia Smith made for 1 year?
Yeah, it lasted exactly 1 year.
How funny she did a crossover with EastEnders.
I think they were desperate at that time because it wasn't really doing very well for the BBC. It was the BBC's second attempt at a soap. Mm-hmm. We could talk about that. We might do a special about El Dorado. We should do a special about El Dorado. Well, it won't take long. It's only a year's worth available. 1996, they did a Eurovision medley with the stars of Casualty. In 1999, they did Pudding Lane, which was a soap based on the events of the Fire of London. I thought you'd remember that one.
No, I don't even know that existed.
2001, they did a Freddie Mercury tribute. 2003, they did...
yeah, because someone butchered one of the songs. I can't remember who.
Probably most of them.
Heather, I don't know.
2003 was Oz Enders, which was The Wizard of Oz. 2005, they did a sketch with Catherine Tate and Barbara Windsor when Lauren visited the pub and Peggy.
Yeah, I remember that.
2007 was a Beatles tribute. Yeah. 2008 was West Enders. I would have accepted a West End musical. Just West End musicals.
That's the one I was thinking about with Chicago, probably. 2009
was a Motown tribute. 2010 was, as you said, the Coronation Street crossover. So the Coronation Street was on Albert Square and they did it. It's a really good episode. If you can dig it out, I think it is on YouTube. Definitely recommend you guys watch it. In 2011, there was the Queen tribute. In 2012, there was the Wolford Apprentice. That was the one when Alan Sugar visited Albert Square and Ian Beale.
I thought most of these were comic relief. I don't know what's going on.
In 2013 was the big Albert Square dance, which was just basically them all doing a dance. 2014 there were 2, and this is the one I'm surprised you forgot. The most important one was the Ghost of Ian Beale mini episode.
Was that Children Need, was it?
Yeah. That's when Kathy came back, when we all thought she was still dead.
Yeah, Cindy and Pat.
Yeah, and Pat Butcher, Pat's Knits, which we didn't even get the joke until Classic EastEnders came along. And they also did a tribute to Grease, the musical. 2015 was Top Hat musical. 2016 was a film tribute. I would have accepted if you said film tribute or Top Gun, Dirty Dancing or Fame. 2017 was East End meets West End, again musical, so I'd have accepted East End musicals.
Yeah, Shirley Carter did Grease. Linda Carter did Grease, I remember now.
So that was Grease Enders, yeah. Les Mis was on the 2017 one, and that was the...
Yeah, I remember that.
Whitney Dean.
Yeah.
That's when we first discovered she could sing. And then, as you said, last last year was Mickey Mouse's 19th anniversary, and that's when Sharon received a present from Mickey.
She does like Mickey Mouse, Sharon.
She does. If you, again, watch the classic episodes.
She has all the memorabilia.
I think she's been to Disneyland at least twice.
If not more.
And every time she goes to, like, visit anyone, she always comes back with, like, a Mickey Mouse toy or something. So it did make sense that Sharon, when she walked past the poster of Mickey, she went, "Here you go, Sharon. Have this."
They go way back.
She's like, "Thanks, Mickey."
Well, yeah, I failed.
You did fail. I mean, there was a lot. You could have just thrown a dart.
Too many. That's the trouble.
In the dark, and you would have hit the board.
You should have included comic relief.
Well, maybe in March when it's comic relief, we can do a comic relief.
But then I'll get confused with Children in Need. So.
Not anymore, because you already know what the Children in Need ones are now.
We'll see.
So yeah, there we go. So let us know how many you got right at home. And don't forget to listen to our Charity Crossovers special that we did last year. It's really interesting. We actually talk about the Doctor Who episode, the Coronation Street crossover, the Ian Beale's Ghosts episode, and the Apprentice episode. And we talk about them in a bit more detail. So it's worth listening to, because you can get an idea of what they were about. And that was Martin Fowler's 5 a Day.
So our last storyline of the week to discuss is the Carters and Ollie's assessment. Linda panicking her family's not perfect.
Mick moaning about the coffee. The nurse being angry.
She was really upset about his...
She didn't say anything. She just pierced her lips and went, And
then walked upstairs.
You know who that nurse is, don't you?
Yes, I do.
A very famous person. She is.
Famous person?
Well, character. Because the first thing we noticed was she was ever so short.
That was the first thing I noticed about her.
Someone who might fit into a costume. And that basically is our question of the week. For you to win a piece of EastEnders Weekly merchandise, all you have to do is tell us the nurse who spoke to the Carters is famous for being a character in what TV programme?
And who did she play?
Oh, God, you're making it doubly hard.
Yeah, why not?
Who did she play? If you think you know, send us an email, eastendersweekly@gmail.com.
Right, so let's have a little chat about little Ollie. Yeah. Linda's panicking, not really coping with any news at all. No matter what the news is, she's just not coping with anything. Mick's being better, I feel. Like, he seems to be more prepared. He's researched it. He's like, fine, if he is autistic, he is. If he's not. Yeah. We'll be able to deal with it. But I've seen quite a lot of people online saying they're not handling this well. They're acting like it's this massive diagnosis of an illness, but really it's autism, which you can still be fairly relatively a normal life. Like the way that Linda's overreacting, I say, it seems to have upset quite a lot of people. It can be controlled online
quite well, and people can, through therapy, I suppose, and through learning and special learning. It's something that doesn't really need to affect a child or a human.
No, or Linda's life that much.
Yeah, but as an adult either, yeah. Because that was Linda's biggest fear, that when he's grown up and they're not around to help him, that he's not going to be able to... I mean, I agree with people. I think they are heightening it a bit. But then I think that's the point, isn't it?
That's at least Linda's, isn't it?
Yeah, Linda's the one who's not taking it well. Everyone else still sees Ollie as this normal little child.
Yeah, because Tina, Shirley, Mick all seem to be like, it's fine, we'll just be able to... Maybe we'll have to do a few changes in our lives, but relatively everything else will just stay the same.
And what's it matter? Because Ollie, we love Ollie, and he's he's our blood, and he's someone we will care for and take care of, and make sure that he's got the best life and the best start he can. Now they've got the diagnosis, because ultimately that's all they needed to know, and that's what Mick's trying to say.
And he's like only slightly on the spectrum as well, the woman said, and it makes me wonder, like, because obviously Nancy had epilepsy when she was her whole life. It makes me wonder, how did Linda react to that then? Like, are they kind of forgetting that, or was she the same with Nancy when she got diagnosed with this epilepsy? Yeah, I mean, obviously Linda was younger then, so perhaps she saw it maybe a bit more opportunistically, that she would still be around to look after her daughter. But that's true, because that's sort of channeling that young mum fan group storyline, is how Linda's... Well, she feels like an outsider. That's mum, right. That's right. I guess. Yeah. But there's the first signs officially of her drinking storyline. Yes. Shirley found a bottle. I mean, not hers. No, exactly. Shirley's biggest problem was that it wasn't in the recycling bin. It wasn't that there was an empty bottle of wine that no one really knew about. Bailey's had a chat with her. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Bailey would be out there with her little picking up stick, picking up all the glass bottles. And she was... After they got the news and things, she sort of wanted to go off for a walk, and left Mick at home with Ollie. And she went to the Albert. Yeah, nice quiet place, because no one goes there, so she can go there in secret. It was quite busy when they were there. People were leaving. And Billy was there.
It's because Kathy wasn't there.
Why was Billy there, actually? Just realised. Oh, he was looking for Linda, wasn't he?
He was looking for...
No, he wasn't looking... Sharon.
No, he was looking... Yeah, no, hang on. He wanted to find Linda because he wanted to find Sharon, didn't he? Yeah. To get Sharon.
But they had, like, quite a nice talk at his grotty apartment. We haven't seen that apartment in ages.
Yeah. Jay, does Jay still live there?
I think so.
But Honey lives there, though, doesn't she?
No,
Honey lives with Adam now. Goodness me. Of course she does. Yes.
And that was quite nice because he sort of said to her about Janet and how Honey wasn't that accepting of her when she first found out things.
But there's that famous scene, isn't there, when Pat... Do you remember Pat? She should never have died.
Oh, God, yeah.
And she was set in the hospital with Billy, and she does that famous talk with Billy when she goes, Mongs, that's what we used to call them in our day. And it's but she was doing it in a very comforting way, trying to get... Because Billy... Was it Billy or Honey that didn't... Billy did accept it, but Honey didn't, yeah.
She wanted to... Well, Billy says to Linda that Honey initially wanted to just get rid of her. But obviously... But it was quite nice how they had that thing. But that's where they focused on Linda drinking a second glass.
Well, no, not just that. She was drinking the glass quickly. It was almost like a tonic, like a medicine to her, wasn't it? So she was nursing it like a cup of tea. She was holding the glass quite tight, close to her mouth. And she was taking not just little sips, but she was taking quite large mouthfuls of the...
I noticed that she became quite... not vicious, but she became quite short-tempered, and her answers were short, and she had like quite a lot of anger behind the things she was saying. I noticed how she changed when she'd obviously had a drink. Yeah,
she was quite snappy as well with Billy, because Billy was saying there's 3 reasons why you need to, and she was like, oh, the first 2, you need to tell me the third one, because the first 2 are just the same thing. Yeah. And eventually he said,
nasty.
She was nasty with it, wasn't she? But then I think Linda's always been quite a nasty drunk, hasn't she? There was always signs that she was always has that kind of snidey side to her.
Yeah, and then obviously you had the parallel at the same time of Mick looking after Ollie at home in the bedroom and buying him that costume.
That superhero costume. It was amazing. Yeah, he said it was his superpower, which I thought was a great line actually. When he said, you've got a superpower. It's called autism, and you're the only kid that has it, and that's what makes you special. And I thought that was a really kind scene and a really sweet way of looking at it and explaining it to a young child.
There's a really good parallel between the two parents as well, like how they're both handling it in massively different worrying ways, I guess. But Tina and Shirley were there also gossiping kind of about Linda, how Shirley doesn't support how she's reacted, and Tina's kind of on Linda's side as well.
Yeah, Shirley always wants an excuse though to moan about Linda. I mean, Linda's never been good enough for Mick, has she? Really? And I think this is an extension of Shirley's dislike for Linda. Nothing ever is right for Mick in Shirley's eyes.
That's true. But yeah, nice dynamics in the Carters going on with those 4.
It's nice actually, I must admit, because when we were getting Carter fatigue, and that's why they have been put on the back step a little bit.
I did stop caring about them.
Absolutely. After the Stewart story, especially, when they were basically each week, it was like, oh, another duff for Mick, oh, another duff for the Carters, oh, another duff. And it was just every week, it was Carters. And you were just getting tired of them. And quite rightly so, they've kept them a little bit at arm's length for the last year, which has been right. And now I think is the right time to bring back the Carters. And I think that rest has really shown with the actors as well.
Yeah.
Especially
Mick.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Especially Danny Dyer. I think because he's been able to breathe again and being able to have a bit of time off the soap, I think he's now come back with it with a new vigour. And seeing these scenes tonight with Mick, or Danny Dyer's character, actually I really enjoyed them.
Much more human side to the Carters rather than him trying to be dark and broody last year. It's that more human side of the family, so that's good.
Yeah, just don't let fingers come through those doors and ask her, how's the wife, to Mick again.
No, God forbid. There you go, that was the week. I mean, I would have been quite happy just to have the whole 3 episodes fully Mel and Sharon.
What, like a little film?
Yeah.
Like a Novatella?
I would have loved it, but sadly we got what we got, and it was good.
I mean, if anyone's feeling smart out there, edit together just the Sharon and Mel bits for this week.
Yeah, and the movie.
Yeah, and make it the Sharon and Mel
Sharon
movie.
And Mel show. So there you go, that was our roundup of the week. And now we're off to do a bit of gossip.
And who won the week as well.
You know me, I ain't one to gossip.
So it's the end of the show, but not the end of the content, because we still have to read out
Thank
your
God.
your tweets and your Facebook messages to us throughout the week about how you thought EastEnders was this week. But before we do any of that, and who won the week, we need to find out what happened this time last year as we take a nosedive into the time machine that is Ben's mind, and we think about episodes that happened years ago, and also birthdays and deaths.
No deaths. Well, Mel Owen, 2019.
Oh, rest in peace.
That's her. She's the only death for this week in the whole of history.
Oh, good for her. That's nice.
She'll stick to that.
Good accolade to have.
Birthdays. We had 11th of November, 1975, Belinda Peacock.
Oh, I loved Belinda.
Yeah, it's her birthday.
I'll bring her back.
She's got a clothes store now. She makes her own clothes.
Does she? What, in Italy? Oh, the actress.
Yeah, not Belinda.
I was going to say, yeah. Belinda, she went to Italy, didn't she?
Yeah, her mate, the mate that no one ever knew about. She just turned up and then left. Very sudden.
I was so sad when she left because I liked her character.
She's really good. 12th of November 2007, Will Mitchell was born. That's Honey and Billy's boy.
Yeah. Did he ever get into that special school? Yeah, model.
He was modelling.
Did he ever go to that school that Adam was going to pay?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Unknown. Let's look at his uniform.
I mean, if he's got a big W on it, then he's gone to Woodford High.
And 14th of November 2008, a year later, Amy Mitchell was born.
Oh, Amy.
Yeah, Amy. Lost another mother.
Yeah,
That's a bit sad, isn't it, actually? Because she really bonded with Mel this year with her makeup and buying tampons together, and now...
A bra. No, it was a bra. It wasn't...
No, there was tampons
as well.
Yeah. And a bra, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's really sad for Amy. She's lost everyone.
Never really saw a reaction from Jack, finding out that Mel died.
Busy.
You'd think that
Whitney phoned him, remember?
yeah. Well, no, Jack's probably the last one to find out. Even if he's in the police, he probably doesn't know.
Poor Amy. Never think about Amy, do we?
I know, no one thinks about Amy. What about Amy? And Ricky? No one thinks about Ricky.
No, he's boring.
Yeah, but they changed his face because everyone thought that there was going to be a big story circulating around him, and then nothing happened.
It could have been the boy actor wanted to leave. There's always that option, the original.
Yeah, maybe.
Right, so the episode I watched was... I forgot I did this. was by accident.
Yes, I know.
I clicked the wrong month. So we're watching the 12th of October.
Oh, right.
2000. But it's good because Pat's in it.
Okay.
Hello. And this was back when Big Mo was actually a character, not just a caricature.
Oh, how long did it take you to come up with that line?
It's not written down. I just made it up.
Just popped into your head right now.
But when I watched the episode, I thought, God, what happened to Big Mo? Because she was a proper head of the house and she had a backstory. She had loads of character to her. And she's just nothing like that now. She was at Viv's grave, which is Kat's, Slater's sister's mum. It's Mo's daughter. She's obviously died. It's the anniversary, and she was there cleaning the grave. She got up early in the morning before any of the Slaters and did it just quietly, didn't tell anyone.
That's unlike Mo.
I know, and I was like, God, her character is so different. At the same time, we have Pat and Frank having an affair behind Peggy's back.
Oh, yes.
Remember this one, don't we?
I do.
And I've got, obviously, Mo and Pat go way back. Mo has worked out already that she's seen Frank hop in, hop out of her house quite a few times. So she knows that they're sleeping together. Peggy has bought Frank a new mobile phone because he'd lost his, because obviously there must have been something going on a week before, like where Pat had left a message on there or something, so Frank's had to get rid of it. So she's chosen a phone case for him and a ringtone for him.
Wow. Oh, did you remember ringtones? Do you remember in a magazine they used to have like codes? And you had like hundreds of ringtones, and you basically put this code in and then 50p text, and then they'd send you the ringtone. What phone is it? I'm curious. Is it Nokia 3310?
Yeah, the one where you could clip off the case and clip on.
Oh, the classic
she bought
Nokia.
him a Union Jack clip-on case.
Oh, why not? It's Frank.
So he's having his affair with Pat. Barry Evans, it's a really good cast at 2000. Barry Evans is just come back from hospital because he's been faking that he's really ill because Natalie had made him do exercise to try and get him a bit healthier.
Oh, I remember this vaguely. Was Natalie seeing someone behind his back at this point?
Possibly.
It was when she had the baby, and then Barry became a baby himself.
Yeah, he was like a house mum, wasn't he?
Yeah, but he almost reverted back to him being a child himself, and that's what made her then kind of find stimulus elsewhere. But
yeah, it was just a nice ensemble episode, and Pat had a little slagging match with Big Mo, but she just got out from going to Viv's, like everyone to go see the grave, so she said, not right now, not now, Pat. So she let it lie. But this is quite soon is when the episode where Peggy finds out and she slaps them both behind the
yeah, I love that scene.
The Vic, and her Pat's earring pops out on the take. But
hope you enjoyed the fireworks.
Yeah, that one. So it's very close to then. So big time on the show. But it was the Slaters' first year.
Wow, that was the first year of the Slaters.
Yeah, 2000. Yeah.
Oh god, they were the heady days, weren't they? I mean, they were such an interesting family to be introduced, weren't they? Because every single one of them had a story.
And they're really good.
Yeah, you don't get that nowadays, do you? Really? You don't get one big push for a family or anything like that. I mean, there is the Painter brothers, I suppose, but.
They're not Slaters. No
they're
way.
not, but they've been introduced with this big story, haven't they? And they circulate around Habiba and Ikra and Ash.
The closest thing to Slaters, I would say, would be the Taylors. Like, they all came in as a big family all at once, and they all had stories.
But what's happened again? Chapman and Riley.
They've never had a story.
But they've always been on screen. But now they don't even bother doing that anymore.
Well, when they were originally made as a family, Sean O'Connor created them, but Chapman and Riley weren't originally part of the family. It was one of the writers who had suggested it to add them as part of the family to round off Karen as a character. So that originally,
to soften her.
And originally in the plan, they didn't exist. So they were just added as a rounding off of Karen's character. So I guess that's why there was never a plan.
Yeah, I suppose that makes sense, because it does. It kind of rounds off the edges of Karen, doesn't it?
Especially when Karen was first, didn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was. I saw it on Twitter somewhere. The writer said it was in like a question thing, but I found that interesting.
Yeah,
even though
really
it's got nothing to do with what I just said, but whatever.
No, I'm glad you brought it up. Thank you very much.
But I didn't even pick the right month, so what does it matter, really?
It does matter. It matters to us. It really does. And if anyone has any moments that they'd like Ben to rewatch, just remember they have to be in the same week as the broadcast week that we've just had. But any year, then do get in touch with us, and Ben would have a look at them and maybe consider one or two.
We'll be changing it next year anyway because I'll run out of birthdays, so I'll do it then. It'll just be any episode anyway.
Oh wow, so you're just going to do an episode any time of the year?
When I've run out of birthdays, the whole thing's going to be like whack.
But you can still do another year though. You've got 34 other years you could do other than... So you could do this time last year in 2005.
That's true.
Plus you got months wrong this time, so... You know what? It's time Who Won the Week.
Good. I'm
going to say you're probably not going to be too surprised that it was a whitewash.
Good.
The 4 stories we asked you to vote between on our Twitter, Facebook and Instagram pages were Chantelle's Keeping Mum.
No, that was misplaced this week.
Carter's Ollie Oops.
No, boring.
Taylor's Flat Pack.
No, boo.
Or Sharon's Fast and Mel's Furious.
Yeah.
So, you know what? We know who's won. So I'm going to ask you who came dead last. No pun intended, Mel.
Gray and Chantelle.
No, Taylor's Flat Pack.
Oh, I forgot that was one.
Came last.
I forgot that was even an option.
Came last with 7%. Chantelle was third with 11%. Carter's story was 13% in second place, and with a phenomenal 69% of the votes.
I thought it'd be more than that.
Well, let me just say that on Twitter, up until the very last few minutes, the vote was 100%. We had over 70 people voting on that one, and it was 100% until the very last minute, and then a few more came through for the others. So anyway, yeah. So Sharon's Fast and Mel's Furious got the vote. So Mel's Goodbye wasn't all in vain. She won the week on our podcast.
I will haunt my dreams for a week.
You haunt my dreams for a week.
That lorry or truck, whatever it was.
Do you fancy some comments?
Yes, always.
Okay.
Saves me a job.
Okay, good. I mean, again, comments this week on our Twitter and our Facebook pretty much was dominated by Sharon and Mel, but we had a couple for Linda, and I'll start with her. @Ballonfan said, first hint that empty wine bottles in the bin. Had they not been telling us about her alcoholism storyline, I wouldn't have even noticed it. It's true. I think
the way they're doing it, I guess.
Oh, so subtle. Yeah. Subtle as a brick.
Yeah, but this episode wasn't subtle because they just lingered on her drinking for like 10 seconds.
That's true.
So.
Ace Alistair on Facebook said, Mick is a good father and Billy had a good take on things as well.
It was nice to see Billy actually do something, not just walk around being an idiot.
I agree with you. It was nice for him to have something outside of the whole Honey storyline. So
or E20.
And he was right, really. He was the right character to give the advice out because, as we said, he has been in a very similar situation. As I said, most of the comments this week have been about Sharon and Mel, so let's get through them. Chris Scott on Facebook said, I absolutely loved it. What a crash, no expenses spared. I was also chuckling at the pictures hanging up of Sharon. There was one of her and Grant, and happy families showing even more that Mel had lost.
The stunt was, the photos were amazing, but that stunt was really good. Like the car...
The crash.
Yeah. It was so good.
The lorry one was not quite on.
Yeah, they used all the budget on the episode before.
Yes, they did. CGI Mel. At Lindsay Fitz on Twitter said, Sharon will probably tell Phil that he ain't the baby's dad, but he won't realise it's Keanu's until Christmas. I think
Lisa beat her to it, I'm afraid.
Yeah, but not that it's Keanu's. That's what
true.
she's saying, not till Christmas. At Anglo Addict on Twitter said, I think it would be a better storyline if Mel had survived and kidnapped Louise's baby when it was born. We know that she is down one kid.
Yeah, that would have been dark, but that would have been quite a long game, wouldn't it? If she was
I think
to
an
give
extended
birth.
contract would have been needed for that scenario.
But I would have liked that because it would mean Mel's not dead.
Although they've done kidnap storylines before. They did it with Cindy, with Ian's kids. She ended up taking one and he kept the other, didn't she? At Always April E on Twitter says, I think they could have found another way to get rid of Mel. I thought she was going to steal Louise's baby. So that was quite the census on social media, that everyone thought Louise's baby was going to get stolen.
I know. She's not even born yet.
No, exactly. You can't steal something that's not there. Neil Allsworth on Facebook said, I'm sorry, but Mel's death was the most stupid death in EastEnders history.
Really?
Yep.
I don't know. It's not the stupidest death. It was very extreme and over the top. And the fact that she got dragged out of the car and then just stepped in front of a lorry, which was randomly driving quickly, doesn't make sense. But I don't care. Well, I do care, but it's fine. It's what it is.
Fair enough. At The Vic is Cursed on Twitter said, I really don't see a way for her to return. They've really exhausted the avenues. If she was to come back in the future, it would likely be a terrible return. Let her go while she was on a high. I agree with that. Mel was on a high, and I think that was a perfect opportunity for her to go.
When the character dies, it's just always so... I just think it's just a sad end. Like, especially when it's a character that don't necessarily deserve it. Like, she had mental health issues at the end. Like, she could have just been put off in, like, you know what I mean? Like, and then maybe come back and had a bit of redemption when Sharon's baby was a bit older or something. Like, there was something that could have been done, like a little redemption arc in, like, 3 or 5 years' time.
It's funny to think that Tamsin Elthwaite returned, probably thinking that she was only kind of doing it just...
for a year.
Yeah, for John York. And then this story came along. Yeah, exactly. Because, I mean...
It'd be interesting to see how she felt about, like, when they said, oh, she's going to be killed off by, like, a truck.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
A truck? I want to be an ice cream van.
Yeah, she, like, turned up with her pink hat, purple hat and coat last 2 years ago, didn't she?
Yeah.
Miss Style Icon with a new family, you know.
With loads of money, and then she left penniless and...
headless.
And, yeah, with no head. Little Danny on Facebook said, ding dong, hopefully the witch is finally dead. And finally, Tamlin Steele on Facebook said, my adrenaline is through the roof. Involuntarily shouting, come on Sharon, stop the car at the TV.
Oh, it was just so good having Sharon drag Mel out and undo the belt, open the door, flames everywhere, smoke. That's Sharon we like, isn't it? Action Sharon. Action
Sharon, the greatest hero of them all. Bethan Davis, final comment on our Facebook, also said, loved the Mitchell/Owen stuff. Although the Carters really slowed the pace, I do think the Billy and Linda scene was far too long. I wasn't expecting Lisa to blurt out about the baby like she did, but to be honest, I'm not sure Phil will believe her. Great tense duff, though, with Sharon running up the stairs and Phil's glare. Wow. It felt so old school. It did, didn't it? I think that's it. That sums it up. It felt old school.
And even if Phil doesn't believe Lisa, like, the seed's been planted in his head. And you know Phil's going to now be over-analysing things that go on. And Sharon's story is shaky at best anyway. Yeah,
I think Phil's going to be a bit of an investigator, like he does. You know, he does things behind Sharon's back.
He keeps things close to his chest. He'll pretend that everything's fine, but he'll be doing some stuff.
He'll be asking questions. He'll be asking what other people know. No doubt Ben will be involved as well. So find out some
give Grant a call.
Yeah, get Grant back. Bring him home.
For Christmas.
Yeah. You know, Grant can get a lot of information out of Sharon if he tried.
Oh, yeah. Just walk around in boxes.
Yeah, why not? Thank you for all your comments as always. We love receiving them and we try to read out as many as we can, but we don't really get an opportunity to read all of them out. If we did, then we'd literally have a podcast which was just full of your comments, which would be great.
Easy.
But we can't do that because we also want to talk about the show. So if you do want to send us some comments, you can find us on Twitter at EastEnders Week. On there, we also live tweet when the show is broadcast in the UK every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday and Friday. You can find us on Instagram at EastEnders Weekly Podcast and our Facebook group. Just search EastEnders Weekly Podcast and then click to join the group. You can also find our YouTube channel where we have EastEnders spoilers every week. You can click and subscribe and don't forget to ring that bell by searching EastEnders Weekly Podcast and clicking to do all of those things. You can also email us, which is really old school nowadays apparently, eastendersweekly@gmail.com. And don't forget you can listen to our podcast on Apple Podcasts where we would love it if you rated and commented on it. Or you can find us on Spotify, Podbean, or you can also listen to us on our YouTube channel. And that's it. That's everything. I'm done.
Sure?
Yeah. I mean, we are thinking of getting a LinkedIn and TikTok account, but if anyone would like us
and
to get
any fans account,
any fans where I show you my nipples.
But there you go. And just last bit of advice before we leave: when you cross the road, look left and right.
That's the green cross code, Ben.